Welcome everyone to another episode of the Plastic Arts Podcast, the show where we break down the video game news of the week. My name is Fonzie. I'm joined by my co-host, indie game dev extraordinaire, whose muscles are constantly wearing out his clothes, Gavin Jones.
I appreciate that.
You've been watching did you finish the Witcher show?
Oh man, 2 days.
In 2 days? Nice.
You know what? 3 days. I forgot. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it took a whole, but I was on the last episode when I stopped on the second day, but blitz through it.
You really dig it.
Fuck, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. I like it a lot.
I'm going to play the games now. Like, it's weird.
That's in the news, too, where it's like Steam has reported that there's been like a huge influx of people going back on there. It's like now the
highest
top
it's
game.
ever been on Steam specifically.
Yeah, even when it launched, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's a great. I wonder if this will, will influence any other, not developers, but like TV execs to go, hey, we should make deals with these, different games to actually like secure the rights to whatever.
Hasn't it happened before? And like just nothing good has come of it. Like they got
That's
the Castlevania anime, the Mario Brothers cartoon.
Yeah. Oh, that cartoon was dope. Bring that back.
The Mario.
But you like the Witcher show?
I loved it. Although somebody did point out today, and I totally agree, like the dragon episode could have just been left out entirely.
I haven't got there yet. I've been hearing, and what I experienced with like the first 3 episodes, the CG could be better, and maybe they'll get a higher budget next.
It's pretty fucking good.
So this isn't a
like
CG
you saw
thing.
the CG the CG in that episode was subpar, but the CG in episode 3 was fucking redonk.
Well, there's that
like
weird
that scene where he pounds on the floor and
I
then
like
all
that.
the shit.
Yep,
like,
I like that.
Oh,
I guess that monster he's fighting actually wasn't done that bad. I've just heard various things about the CG, and I wonder you mentioned that dragon, if that was the issue you had with that episode.
That wasn't the
stuff.
issue. The issue for me is that it felt like an episode of either like Xena, Warrior Princess,
Sure.
Or like, Young Hercules with Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
But it felt.
These are all awesome shows you're referencing.
They are awesome
What's the problem?
shows. But if you try and watch them without the rose tinted glasses, that we would
it's
have,
tough. Yeah, yeah,
it would be some rough shit.
yeah. Is it you think of maybe too many like Monster of the Week kind of stuff they're including in there, or
no.
Okay.
It was just an off episode, but the
Gotcha.
rest are all fantastic.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm just like 3 episodes in, and the way I know the big influence is the books. That was what they were talking about going in. But for me, I the little I played of the actual game, I feel like they're nailing the kind of flow and feeling in the game, especially with Henry Cavill playing what's his face, Geralt.
And he's officially, based on the author, he's now the face of The Witcher.
Is he?
Yep.
What?
The author made that. He's like, yep, that's him.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Do you think with the next Witcher, they'll kind of also piggyback off that and have some more like change his face a little bit to look more like Henry Cavill? Will he kind of become that character? Or
that's tricky.
They're just so close to each other. I do like how Henry Cavill's playing him.
Yeah.
He's very much has that kind of raspy voice. It just I picture it completely when I see him.
I think the tricky thing is like the video game character already looks a lot like that.
Yeah.
So like, do you change it? But also like, yeah, you just made that the official face.
Gotcha.
So I do wish sometimes he would dial back a little bit on the gravel.
Right. He's almost like too Batman for Batman kind of thing. Like he's very much that direction.
But I did love. He's got a great. And I saw this compilation of every time he goes in the show, and it was fairly lengthy, and I loved it. And he's got a very expressive.
Hey, that's a good actor. If you can just in that little alone, you can express all this stuff.
Yeah, or his fucks. He was not when he's he gives a good fuck.
Yeah,
like it's good.
I think I've heard that already in the episodes, but
yeah,
I
he's
didn't
gonna
get
say
through
fuck a lot,
Gotcha.
and that's gonna be his
welcome
one-liner.
That's fine. Yeah, I like how they're building the world, and I don't really think you need to know a lot about the series like beforehand. I know that I was reading some of the criticism is like they kind of reference stuff that you don't know, which is I didn't really get that vibe. I feel like it was fine. I know that the way they're building certain characters up, just from the little I played of The Witcher 3, I could tell, oh, that's this character. Oh, they're going to turn into this, or this is this character. They're going to eventually be here. I knew that going in, but it didn't mean I needed to know that. It was fine just
For
watching
me, it's just figure shit out.
Right.
Like some people are like, what's the law of supply prize? It's like, could you not figure it out based on context clues?
I don't remember that. What was
The law of surprise. You may not have seen it yet, but there's this thing in this universe called the law of surprise. And yeah, like people are coming into work like, what is it? It's like, just
is it like Chaos 3
keep
where it's like
watching.
There's that other, it's maybe another term, but it's like when something, is it Murphy's Law? When something can go wrong, it will go wrong. Is it like that at all?
No, it's like you'll see.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not gonna.
I hear it.
But it also, the other thing, like, if I'm gonna play the games now, like, Yennefer's my girl. Like, you can't, like, I know you have two options, and I can't, like, I don't know what the other girl's gonna do to tear me away from Gwen.
Can you choose in the game? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you can choose between Yennefer and, like, this other chick with huge boobies.
Gotcha.
Like, she's got a shirt that's, like, barely covering them the whole time.
Like an anime, like a Japanese anime.
Right. It's a Twitch stream, like watching a Twitch stream of it, you like never have anyone around. But yeah, like Yennefer's character is like her arc is awesome.
I like how she's starting out. Like, it's really cool to see what she has to go through, and then how I think the episode I'm at, she's finally like has her powers and stuff, and she's just like a badass.
Yeah, I think because you're only 3 episodes in,
Yeah.
you don't realize there's sort of and you're not gonna you're gonna start getting an inkling of it towards the end, and then you're gonna finally realize what happened. But there's like a weird kind of twist going on with the whole season. Okay. And it's not like a traditional story twist.
Is it
now it's spoiled for you.
Well, that's all I need to know, and I guess it's not a spoiler for me. I know that something weird's going on, and I'll just also erase this conversation.
Right. But it is cooler knowing, like, you know, much like watching the Joker and having it spoiled, that some of it's not real. It's a lot cooler knowing, not knowing that going in. Yeah. And then when stuff starts to not make sense and you piece it together.
Gotcha. I had a spoiler for the new Star Wars. That I saw on Twitter, and it made me want to it was a test on, because we talk about all the time where it's like, okay, we'll see spoiler stuff sometimes, but there's a thing you have to do in your mind to like put it away to just kind of experience it. But I saw this Rise of Skywalker spoiler, and I wanted to reach through. It's the first time I ever felt this, where I wanted to reach through the phone and just like strangle them to I had no idea how in their mind they thought it was okay to post what they posted, because I was just scrolling down like an idiot seeing this thing, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so I was livid. I was so fucking angry, but I just had to put it aside. Can you believe that Fortnite invaded Star Wars? What a twist! It was crazy when Marty McFly showed up, but
oh god, that'd be so good though.
Yeah, that's what I ended it. But but I felt that, and I was like, okay, I just have to just fucking take this anger out on somebody else and not this person. I didn't even want to find their page again so I could leave a whatever, and I don't do that. Like, I don't want to like DM them something crazy. But even if I did, this might have been the only time I would have done that. I didn't want to go on that page to see that spoiler again. I just wanted to try and erase it. But it was very.
Were you able to erase it, or was it?
I was. It was fine. Like, I watched the movie. I was like, okay, I know this is happening. It's fine. Big deal. I just have to put my big boy pants on and watch the movie.
Have you ever like watched a movie that like you probably heard spoilers about it like years ago, and then like it's an older movie and you forget about it, and then as you're watching it through, like, wait a second, I feel like I know what's about.
Right. That's you for most movies, because you haven't watched a lot of recent ones, right? You're lagging behind.
Recent ones, old ones, like I just don't. I'm bad at like sitting down for an hour and a half to watch a movie. Just
I'm the king of sitting, which
is weird, because like sitting there for 60 minutes watching a TV show isn't that bad, even though I'm behind at that.
Well, maybe the way they like chunked stuff down. Yeah. You know what? I was talking to, so now I can finally talk to people who have watched the new Star Wars and like, you know, see what they think about it. One of the girls I work with today, we were talking about how I just watched Star Wars. She's like, oh, I just watched it too. And she was like, yeah, it's the first Star Wars I ever watched. And I was like, oh, what? She was like, yeah, I was confused.
That's my future wife right there. She starts cool. At the end. She starts at the end. That's how you do it. You watch the end of the game first, and then you start.
That's what you do. No, yeah, I thought about you too.
Oh, it's like, my God. Why would you do that?
I don't know. I grilled her, so I was like, what are you doing? How are you living your life? Are you like...
That is so much homework, though, to watch this movie.
It is.
If you're going to do it.
We talked about that, too. It's like, I get it. But, yeah, she was like, oh, I was with some friends, and they wanted to see it. It's like, okay. And then she was describing how she was like, I was watching the movie, and I was very confused. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, dude. That's what happens. This is a series that's 30 fucking years old, and you watched the last one.
Hilarious.
But she was like, yeah, I know. Whoops.
I mean, I think the aspect. So she went with some friends. Clearly, she doesn't care. She
No,
went to watch this
no,
movie.
and that's fine. That's fine.
She's just having a good time with her
Right,
friends.
right.
So
No, and I totally understood that, and I was just giving her shit just to give her shit because it was funny to me.
oh man,
But that's the thing. She's not the first. There's millions of people like that who are just like, I don't know what this is. I'll watch it. I could give two shits. So when we get so caught up in these weird fandoms and how they changed whatever storyline in this thing we love or that thing, it's like there's people who are like, I don't know what that is. I'll watch it. Okay, I'll watch the last one to see what happens.
You know what? I kind of did that with Harry Potter. I watched
the last one.
I think I watched 1, and then I watched maybe 3 at one point, and then I watched the last one.
You're just like, yeah, let's skip to the end.
Or I think I watched because the last one was split into 2.
Oh yeah, it was.
So I think I watched 1. Maybe I saw 3, and then 8, 9, or whatever it was.
Right. And I guess it's none of this shit matters, but it's like, it's fine. If you don't care about the thing, then it's fine. You can watch it however you want. It's just funny to me because there's people that are so diehard, especially, and I was thinking about this today with Star Wars. That's maybe the origin of these like diehard fandoms for geek stuff, for nerd stuff, for any kind of culture thing. It's got to be Star Wars. It's got to be the origin of it. Because what before it has generated so much love and passion for a property, a kind of storyline like that. Nothing. At least with movies, you know what I mean? Like Star Wars was the pinnacle of that. And so for her to go watch the last one, I'll do that. All right, man.
I mean, I guess the thing was it kind of, and I think you're right. I don't, like, I'm trying to rack my
there's
brain.
like Transformers, which was still later 80s, because this is like 70s. First Star Wars is like 77, I want to say 78. So there's other properties that are well known, like you have Ninja Turtles, you have all these other properties, but they don't have the legs, they don't have like the influence on pop culture like Star Wars does.
Well, I think the other thing, and this is part of it, but like Star Wars shat money. It just like, it was like a dog just like doing the boot scoot across the carpet, and it's just
it made so much
millions of dollars. So that's, I think, what, part of the reason that it catapulted like other movies as well. They're like, oh, there is money here. It kind of proved that
it was money mixed with, it was a perfect combination where it's these high box office results with something that's really loved as far as like the world they've created. It wasn't just like some bullshit. It's actually the super deep world with the midichlorians and all this other stuff where it's like these really deep awesome stories. So it's an actual legit universe, and so it just kind of it snowballed from there. But no, I thought it was hilarious. Her telling me that she's like, yeah, I just watched the last one. It's funny where if you're creating something, you can put all this like effort and passion into it, and you're still gonna have somebody that just kind of will watch on their phone. Like there's all these varying levels of like of interest in when it comes to the person actually experiencing the thing that you're making. But yeah, she still liked it. She was just like, I had no idea what was going on, but it was still fun. It's like, hey, then they
there you go.
They made it a perfect.
I mean, they are fun movies.
They are. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think. I can't remember any like not fun ones. Like you could argue that Rogue One isn't especially fun. I think it's a great movie.
I really love Rogue One.
It's it honestly may be my favorite Star Wars. Or like,
ooh, you know what? The Mandalorian for me is my favorite Star Wars. That I would consider that whole first season like a movie. That's my favorite one.
There you go.
You got to watch that.
Gats to.
You could also skip all of the prequels because they're dog shit.
I still like 1. Pod racing was sick.
That's the thing. It's like pod racing. You got Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. That fight. The fight at the end was worth the ticket price.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was a really cool character.
Yeah.
Gavin, we had some video game stuff happen. We don't have a lot of news, so I wanted to kind of compile.
Do we not? We've been gone for 2 weeks.
But that's the thing. We're at the end of the year, so really nothing has happened.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is compile what we thought of 2019 in general. That's what I think will be our focus for.
We totally should have done a game of the year, or
like
a top 10.
Yeah, because it's like we're on the cusp of 2019 or 2020. So let's kind of give our ideas, our personal, game of the years. But before we do that, what did you actually play these past 2 weeks? We had a real break.
I can't remember what I played last week.
You're bedridden, you had some tummy trouble. So
I didn't play anything. I was with family.
Gotcha.
So yeah, last week I was pretty well with family. I don't think I played anything this last week due to being sick. I mainly just sat and watched.
It's a perfect Switch time. You can get some Switch time.
I was too, like, my brain couldn't.
Yeah.
I also had a fever, so like my brain can't handle it with a fever.
That's the idea. It's like, oh, if you're sick, you have time to play games. It's like, nope, you need that brain to actually have fun, and you can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like when you run into the bathroom like every 30 minutes. But I watched the new season of Expanse, and I just love that show more and more every season. Like this may be one of my favorite seasons of that show, even though it got rated lower than a lot of the others. And that show has like I think 2 seasons rated 100 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah.
But it was really good, and it was a lot more intimate. It was a little bit more stressful due to the storyline, but it was really good. I played some of Hades.
Oh, you were telling me about that. Yeah. What do you think about
it's
that?
It's just fucking slick. It is so slick. If you like, I know you kind of like Dead Cells, so it'd probably be up your alley. It's just pretty as hell.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is a little bit easier than Dead Cells. I'll probably be able to beat this one within a reasonable amount of time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? This is the one by the devs who did, is it Transistor or...
Transistor,
Gotcha.
They did Bastion.
Right. They have kind of a unique art style. Even though they change it up every release, I feel
little
like you
bit.
can still kind of tell
Yeah.
they have kind of a style going on.
Always isometric, which I would like them to... I would like to see them do something besides isometric.
I think they will. I feel like they're kind of... They're getting their experience here, but I think they will try something else.
Yeah. And they're so talented. Like they've got gameplay, and it has really like not only is gameplay really good, but it does. I've been a little bit frustrated playing Magica, which is somewhat similar, but also a lot not. And by Magica, I mean Legend of Wizard, which is a cool little roguelite.
I like how you doubled down on the nerdiness of it in that phrase.
Oh god, that
like,
game is
technically. I mean,
it's super nerdy and like it's super anime, which makes like when you're pulling moves, you're just like. You do 3 different badass moves, and then you full it up with like a super, and you
everyone's flying in the air for 5 minutes before they actually like fight each other. Like
yeah.
Dragon Ball
So when you do land that, and it takes skill to land it, it feels cool. But the enemies in that game kick your ass a lot more. You're a little more dedicated to a move when you do it, which this has a lot of dash canceling. So like,
okay.
I fucked up, I'm out.
Right.
So it works very good. It's very responsive. It's fun. The customization is neatish. I don't know.
Not very deep, or just kind of you don't have a lot of options there, or more than you would want more.
I don't know. I guess I haven't played it enough to. To me, it doesn't feel like it definitely feels like I'm getting more stats, and there are definitely some things where it feels like I get cool passives and abilities from stuff.
Gotcha.
And the weapons all feel great. They're all super unique. Even the bow, which I know I'm surprised that the bow works as well in this game, but it's really fun.
Gotcha.
So that played, watched The Expanse, and then been back into programming a little bit. Not super far, but I'm working on the arcade game. And I had a happy accident.
Really?
Which was I was trying to make it so like the gun, when you shoot somebody, and the bullet hits them, it'll knock them back. But apparently, I'm not checking to see whether it'll only do damage if the actually I probably am doing damage, but I can't die currently.
I was gonna say, did you check the throttle on level 5?
If you hit the opponent, it's supposed to deal damage and knock them back. But apparently, I'm not checking if it's hitting me or not. So
like ricochet kind of thing, or
no? Currently, I just have it. Kind of counts as knockback. So currently, when I shoot, I go backwards, and then if I hit them, they blow the other way. It's actually very fun. So cool. I definitely need that, and I think that's going to be a really kind of because it's already. I also like how it's super hard to shoot. I made the bullets way fucking big, and I think that's a lot better. And that I knew that was going to be
for
better.
Like dodging them or seeing them.
Just to be able to hit the enemy. Gotcha. Like you need a big. Like the characters aren't that big, so make the bullets. The bullets almost it may be the size of your character, and we'll do different bullets based on different. But it got a lot funner very quickly.
That's cool.
And,
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, and
is it relative to your weapon too? Like a shotgun would blast you further.
That's how I'm gonna make it.
Gotcha.
And I would love like right now the pistol has way too much kick, and it'll kind of kick me way up, which is neat because you're still spinning and you try and shoot them again while you're up, and it definitely like clearly I had to make it so each time you shoot. The knockback is a little bit less for yourself.
Gotcha.
And make it so maybe it speeds you up a little bit, so it's a little bit harder to get like makes you spin a little bit faster. It's a little bit harder to get those repeated shots and that kind of
as like a balancing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
but it's kind of neat, and I definitely need to make it so the shotgun just blasts you. Like if you fire it straight down, it needs to just smack you against
Oh
the
yeah,
ceiling.
for sure. The more powerful the weapon, it should do that more, just to offset
Right.
the fact that you have more damage now.
Like have it be a really like the projectiles don't go far, but
Just whoa.
I mean, it'd be fun too if like if you do get somebody like let's say you get a horizontal shot and just their gibs just splatter against the wall.
Oh yeah, that feeling.
So
That's awesome.
So that's
Nice.
been fun. So I want to make I'm gonna make that goddamn game.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Is there with and some of the other stuff you developed too? Is there like times where you get kind of a, I guess, eureka moment where it's like stuff kind of aligns more, where it kind of will give you more energy to kind of keep going on something, rather than when you hit a wall, it kind of halts process of what you're doing, like where you get kind of motivation to keep doing other stuff.
I mean part of it is my it's like running. You need stamina, and right now my stamina is just down to 0.
Gotcha.
Like I'm forcing myself
But the more
an
you do
hour
it-
a day to program, and right now that's still pretty hard. So eventually it'll get better. But there is like when I do have those little moments of that's funner than it should be. Like when I was shooting myself to the ceiling, I was like, all right, that stays.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it work properly, but that stays. So
Gotcha.
I think there'll be moments where when I bring this to you next time, you're gonna be like, "That's stupid. I love it," and that's really what
That's
this game should be.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, that's stupid. I love it.
That's what you should call it, actually.
it.
To see that on like the main banner thing too as you walk up.
That's
pretty
stupid.
dope.
I love it. Yeah.
There was a recent Rick and Morty episode where the whole catchphrase is like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in," and so
Oh, yeah.
I keep thinking of that over and over again.
That's been all over the internet. I could swear that was an older episode, but
might have been,
apparently
yeah.
not. No, it's been everywhere. Maybe it is now.
Yeah. That's cool. I played some. I'm telling you about Death Stranding. I've been all up in that ass when it comes to Death Stranding. So for like a good week.
Did Norman Reedus punch you for being all up in that ass?
I tried that a little bit. I just did it once. I was like, okay, I'm good, because I saw so much footage of that leading up to the game. It's like, that's fine. I need to push it.
I don't want to piss off Mr. Reedus. Like, what if I meet him in real life and he knows?
Right.
He probably knows.
It's like, hey guy, did you do that to me? Yeah, it was. It's. I'm loving it. It's pretty interesting to get over the hump of the initial a couple of hours of it. And because it does really start to pay off more and more. And that was one thing I was reading about the game. And it's such a weird conversation when you see that as a tagline where it's like the game doesn't get good until 40 hours. That's not accurate. At the same time, there is a bit of a hurdle where it's like you have to kind of get familiar with the mechanics and the world. And once you start to understand it, you're like, oh, okay. And you have more fun with what's going on. That aside, the storyline is fucking bonkers. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but in the best way, in a Kojima way, it doesn't make any sense because they keep adding new stuff that's just out of left field. It's almost like if he should be the next guy to reboot Lost, the TV show, and just go super out of left field with it, because he's very much with like, I might answer one question, but I'm going to add 10 more to what you're experiencing.
Can you imagine Lost with like Kojima ass names?
That's another thing. Everyone's like, what do you do? Oh, I deliver pizzas. All right, you're pizza guy. What do you do? You mow the lawn? Yeah, you're lawn guy. Like it's that in this world. But yeah, it's very literal with what's going on with the names. But
Nice.
I'm loving it. I keep staying up late nights playing this game. I didn't expect to like it so much. I remember reading a lot of the mixed reviews where it's like the gameplay isn't there or the story's too much, but everything is clicking with me. To the point where I'm having a blast. I really liked Metal Gear Solid 5 though. That was the first one, much like that Star Wars lady. That was the first Metal Gear Solid that I legitimately played. Was the last Metal Gear Solid that just came out.
You can kind of 5 was the last one.
That was the last one in the storyline, anyways.
Okay, you can't really play them that out of order.
You can't, and that was the first one I played, but it was fine because I had a general sense of and I watched plenty of videos of explaining the whole storyline. But for me, the gameplay was so tight with the last one, where they had all these cool mechanics and they all layered in the right way, and that gameplay loop was so addictive. And that stuff carried over with this one, where it's like you could tell a lot of the influence from the last game carried over here with the way the mechanics are so deep, and how you have to, when it's basically like a climbing simulator, and you have to like legitimately hold on or control your balance. And it sounds like a very boring, dumb aesthetic to have to control your balance in a video game, but it actually works for this game. Yeah, I'm loving it. The world is beautiful too.
Somebody kind of compared it to like a QWOP, like that running game I showed you
Oh,
last
right.
week, or
Yeah.
like a getting over it with Bennett Foddy, where it's just
Yep.
like part of the gameplay is the shitty controls, which can totally work. You got your Katamaris, which I
Right.
would say that's more just like I just want to absorb more of this game into my face simulator, so I'll put up with whatever you got.
Exactly. No, there's a something to that. Like even look at old Resident Evil, those initial releases. The gameplay was limited, but that's what also was addicting about it. It's like you couldn't see everything. That also was a survival horror aspect to it. But with here, it's like it's an overload of options or things you have to worry about. But that's what makes it fun in the first place, is having to worry about plan your route and think about what's going on. The enemies in the game are these like weird trans-dimensional, beings, and they're terrifying as shit. Like they're so fucking scary because you can't see them. So they're just all around, and if you fuck up, that means you have to redo it again. So that's what makes it extra scary. The fact that you don't want to have to redo the level. Yeah. So it's terrifying, but and super polished. I'm a big fan. Nice. I'm really excited to see. There was something in the news about him announcing that he's working on his next project. So I'm interested to see like what that is. And I feel like
it's just Norman Reedus.
I wouldn't be mad at that. His acting is fine. He's opening up more and more in these later stages of the game. I'm almost done with the game, but there's the other supporting cast is really good too. So actually, the acting's on point, but it's also has that weirdness that you would expect with like I guess a Kojima game. Like the way they deliver the lines is kind of weird, but that's part of it.
Camp is part of his shtick.
That is, he's the king of camp for sure. But I played some Modern Warfare too. I was very addicted to that. So luckily, this kind of pulled me away from the Modern Warfare stuff.
Gotta destroy those 12-year-olds.
Yeah. Yep. That's basically what I was doing online. And I didn't play much of the single player, but it's very fun. It's really cool. It's not realistic to the point where it's like trying to tackle, like the grayness of what it is to be in war, or America's participation in it. It's very much like a Michael Bay version of whatever's going on. It's kind of like more stuff exploding versus like let's tackle how it's weird and the grayness of these different like terrorist groups attacking you and what America's done to them in the first place. It doesn't really touch on that at all. But having fun. Kevin, 2019 is almost done, so I wanted to kind of look over what has happened this year.
What a year!
What a year! I have a very boring list of every game that's released that we are interested in. That I find interesting just to kind of put into perspective, like what came out when it came out. When we watched the Game Awards stuff, it was surprising to see Apex on the list, but Apex actually came out in February. But it seems like it was a game that was around forever.
Is it like early access? Maybe
no, it was just that's one of the stories of 2019 is that it just launched and then 2 days later or 3 days later it premiered. So it was one of those things that they really didn't. They waited to release the game until they were gonna like start hyping it up. But so. Just kind of top of your head, what was some of the, what are one of the big games that stood up for you as far as like the games you had the best experience with, the most fun, maybe, rather in 2019?
I mean, my number one is absolutely Outer Wilds. Like nothing in my mind this year compares to the way that game made me feel. And like I was in that world at that time. Yeah. When I was at work, I was solving puzzles. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. Some of those puzzles made me feel just absolute so smart when I finally figured it out. And some of the hints are pretty obscure.
Yeah, I remember experiencing that too.
Yeah, so it felt that game was just really, really awesome. And that was probably the first one I'd mentioned from this year.
They really meant or mastered the creating a mood.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Making you feel that mood. And there's few instances of terror that I felt they were so vivid in 2019. One of them was Outer Wilds, like experiencing these crazy planets with living things in them that were goddamn terrifying. Yeah. And I don't know why I was just so scared seeing that stuff. I'm like, oh God. And I wanted to turn it off. But like stuff like that, just the way you could explore. I mean, there's open world games up the yin yang as far as like stuff that releases, but this is one where you could just really were free to explore everything. There was that time limit aspect to it with the thing resetting, whatever.
It's pretty long with 22 minutes.
But it's pretty long, and it just felt like you could go anywhere, and it was daunting but fun, and I really liked how they nailed that.
Yeah.
There was a Outer Wilds documentary coming out. So there's that group called No Clip. I always tell you to watch their stuff. They're making one on them, and that's one that's absolutely up your alley because you got to. But
They
they're
put out one recently that I needed to check out.
Yeah, on Bastion or no? I think because we just talked about that. There's another game.
Somebody interesting.
Yeah, but they're teasing the one now, which is Outer Wilds coming out.
Oof.
But they did one on Doom that was really good on a bunch of different devs. But yeah, so you would say kind of you would say Outer Wilds is a big one for you this year.
That was my game of the year.
Gotcha.
Personally.
What about, was there any kind of like popcorn thing that you were playing, any kind of addictive game that just you were absorbed by it for a little while?
We'd have to look at that list. Like
Gotcha.
if it was
That's the thing, the
Apex
list helps to
Legend,
bring
like the Apex Legend thing, like I remember when that first came out, like to me that was the amount of fun I had with Apex Legend when that came out.
Yeah.
It reminded me of being in high school, hanging out with the buds, playing Halo.
Gotcha.
Like it's just so fun and goofy.
Right.
And like me and my buds were all together just talking shit at each other. and it was really good fun. So that if that did come out this year, then
it did. That's surprisingly it did. So here's a list of 2019 games. So I kind of go in order as far as like relevance to what we've talked about. Slay the Spire. I know you're big on Slay the Spire.
Back when I was in early access forever.
Yeah, did it? I think so. It's on the release date is January 23rd. Is that when it actually came out of early access? Because it's slated for PlayStation 4, Switch, PC for January 23rd.
I got into it about a year, maybe 2 years ago.
Gotcha.
Maybe a year and a half
But
ago.
it was an early access game.
Yeah, early access. Absolutely brilliant game. The mechanics in it are so deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Nice.
Great game. I would put it at great.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Like as far as roguelites go, like there's a lot of roguelites out there.
There are. Would you say 2019 is the year of roguelikes, or is 2018?
I would have gone like 2017 or 2018.
Well, a lot of them do they start in early access to the point where we're seeing like the finished versions of a lot of these games in 2019?
I would say a lot of them start in early access. They get a lot of buzz right out the gate, and then they lose that buzz, and then people kind of half-ass the ending of a lot of them.
Gotcha.
And then also people like they're hard to make. Like when I made that teeny little top-down Hotline Miami, even though that game was microscopic, there was just so much work to debug those things. So
Gotcha.
I think that's why it's really hard for people to finish these.
I see. So yeah, keeping on the list here, we have Resident Evil 2, which came out January 25th.
You can talk about that. Like I
really dug that one.
There was
a lot of games this year. So for Resident Evil 2, that was one of the ones for me that was game of the year. Possibility. I also think this game of the year stuff needs to go away where there's so many games that come out now. It's hard to say like one game was game of the year. There's almost like a top 5 or a top 10 or the best games of the year. This would be in my list of best games of the year. The way I was never fully invested in the Resident Evil games. This one brought me back to it. It was this new engine they're doing. It's very realistic with how everything looks. It's very creepy, but it's also a bit more arcadey. They've improved the mechanics, how you move around, how you interact with your guns and stuff like that. Very fun, very very scary, but maybe not as scared as I felt playing Outer Wilds for those few scenes with those crazy aliens. But
yeah, something I did. Somebody was doing kind of a year wrap up thing, and what they pointed out that they truly loved about Resident Evil 2 was no longer having the door load screens. Actually, they felt made the game scarier because you couldn't get away. If you walk out that door, the zombie could come with you, and you weren't just stressed out by like, oh fuck, I went in the wrong room. Load again. Yeah, like you keep having to do that. It just made it feel more like you're in this mansion. You're stuck there. There's no getting out of there, buddy. The police station, I should say.
That's true. You don't get the not the freedom, but the rest of those cutscenes, those loading screens. Yeah. But especially since now with this game and the next game after this coming up, the 3 remake, you always have somebody chasing you. So it's like you never get a chance to rest because. Yeah,
I forgot the Division 2 came out this year.
Yeah, so we got Kingdom Hearts 3 came out this year too. This is January 29th.
And went, dude.
It did, and that was a game that was like I never thought we would see it release, and it finally released, and then it kind of went away. But
it just wasn't very good.
Apparently,
2 was really fun. So like you couldn't get away from 2 when 2 came out.
Yeah, they kept doing all these different additions to it, right? It was like part 2 something and other. There was like these different like add-ons, but
yeah, and they were all important to the story, which is the shitty thing.
Gotcha.
So there's a bajillion different games. No one had this story straight, so people had to put out like hour-long videos explaining the story.
Yikes. Well, that came out.
Say Ape Out.
Ape Out also was this year, yeah. So Apex Legends, you mentioned having a lot of fun. That was February 4th. So it's actually, it's just because there's so many games this year, they kind of bleed together. And this one felt like a last year game. It was actually this year.
Yeah, guess so.
So we have Tetris 99. Did you play some of that when that came out? That launched with the Switch online service thing.
No, I didn't play it.
Gotcha. I tried to, but my brain could not understand what the fuck was going on. So I just wanted regular Tetris, but there was so much going on. That was February. Crackdown 3, which was a big deal, is one of the Xbox Game Pass games. It came and went. It was kind of lackluster. Far Cry New Dawn. That was that expansion to Far Cry 4, I want to say. Far Cry 5.
Man, February feels like 2 years ago.
Right? Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that came out February.
Metro. I hear from people that played Exodus, they really liked Metro Exodus.
I have it in my backlog. I need to finish it. It's just like the mood, the timing. It felt like I had to just sludge through it. I was having fun. And then Far Cry New Dawn came out around it, so I was like, this is more arcadey. I'm having more fun. I went to that.
Right.
But I have it. I need to play it. Ape Out came out on Switch and PC in February 28th. You've played some Ape Out yet, or was it one of the free games? Have you downloaded it yet?
I used to play the demo every time I go to Walmart as a kid.
Gotcha.
I'd blast through that. I had all the memorized where all the monkeys were, so I could blaze through the demo and beat it.
Is that are we thinking of the same game? Because remember the Ape Out is that one jazzy kind of like.
Nope, thinking of the wrong game. I was thinking of Ape Escape.
Ape Escape, where they have the sirens on their head and they're running around. You have to catch them.
So Ape Out, it was free.
Yeah,
and I missed it by a day, so I bought it.
Gotcha. Well, I would say it would definitely be easily, worth the purchase.
I will have to play it.
Gotcha. It's cool. I'm interested to see your take on it. I really like the music on that game. As far as like
dynamic
best music kind of stuff, the way they
really
do
cool.
that, it's fucking awesome, and it's paired awesome with or perfectly with what you're doing.
Yeah.
The horrific, violence you're committing against these people is justified because they're trying to keep, this ape in, and he's just trying to live his life.
I'd be so curious to see, like, with that whole dynamic jazz soundtrack, like, could you do, something bigger than just this game with that? Could you throw in more mechanics? Could you make like a really crazy, even crazier game than this? Or could you throw in these sort of jazz mechanics into the next Breath of the Wild? Because it already has this weird like soundtrack when you're fighting people. So
do you mean like that is a mechanic where you have to do stuff on beat kind of thing, or it's just...
Well, you're not doing this on beat. Like it adapts to you,
right? But are you saying like to create that as an addition to where not only are you is the music affecting what you do, but you have to like hurt people in the way that creates a bass drum in the right timing kind of thing?
No, I was just saying adapt to what you do. It was really all.
Yeah, no, I didn't notice any seams with the music, how it's like interlinking the jazz stuff. They did a good job.
Well, you're generating it. What you do generates the music.
Gotcha. I get that. But as far as like when I don't hear this the point where the game goes, oh, you're doing something here. I have to like switch gears to get this thing going. It all flows together,
right?
Depending on what you're doing. To where it sounded good. As the very little I understand about jazz, it sounded like jazz. Yeah. Every time I accidentally put on NPR.
Far Cry 5 supposed to be great.
Far Cry 5 was really cool. Oh, you mean Devil May Cry?
That's what I meant. Devil May Cry.
Yep.
And I watched some people. I watched a lot of streams of that. That's some top tier Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry all the way.
The graphics are really good. I forget the engine they used for that, but
I think it's is it the same one as Resident Evil 2?
Possibly, because it's Capcom still, right?
Yep, it's definitely Capcom.
Gotcha.
It's 2000% Capcom.
Now, also in March, so we're on to March now. Baba Is You came out, and that's fair. And
I don't care how many awards you win. I don't care how many people like you.
I feel like they should be able to see that middle finger and go, "Yep, that's fair. Hey, we made it on purpose to be hard as fuck."
It's so fucking hard.
I want a Baba Is You Baby edition where I can finally wrap my brain around it.
It'd still be called Baba Is You, but it comes with a Baba. It's just a little binky.
That's fine. I'll play it that way. Division 2. You played quite a bit of this, right?
That shit was fun. Yeah. It was a good shooter.
Yeah.
It's probably still good.
I wonder if especially nowadays, like these online communities, they're hard to keep going for a while, but I wonder how that community is now.
I don't know, but that definitely means that did Anthem come out this year?
No, I think Anthem was late 2018, right?
Possibly 2017. I could swear Division 2 came out, and then maybe it was right before.
You might be thinking Division 1. So
it was 2019.
It was?
So which one was first, Division or Anthem?
Wow. Okay, so We're on February. That did not show up on my list of games here for February.
Well, it's not really a game. But
Damn. Shots are fired. Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking that was 2018, but it's 2019.
I think, wasn't that before Division? Because I remember thinking I was going to tide myself over for Division with this.
So this is February 22nd, and Division 2 was March 12th.
Okay, so that
So
this
before.
was supposed to tide me over. But yeah, Division, like, I'm not huge into these Destiny, these live service games,
Yeah.
but that was just a fun shooter, and it didn't really matter, like, yeah, my gear kind of mattered, but it's just like, hey, just have a good gun and go
Right.
have a good time. You're with
Gotcha.
5 other people just shooting the shit out of everything.
Gotcha.
So, it was good.
Yeah, I wonder, could they benefit from a single player? Does it need to happen in that world?
Not really.
No?
I mean, it's more fun with 5 people. And
Right.
generally, like, when I played it, at least, like, I would go back and help people. Because I couldn't figure out how to go forward in the story, so I replayed the same mission like 10 times.
Gotcha.
But it was nice to go back and help people because when I would do missions, people would come back and help me, so I was paying it forward.
Is there some kind of benefit to where players are incentivized to go and help people, or they just wanted to help people?
Could be. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But I had fun doing it. So, I mean, that was the thing. The missions were just fun. It's like replaying a Halo mission. Like, oh no, I get to have fun again?
Would you attribute that to the level
No.
design, or like just the loot you'd gain, or your loadout? Like, what kept it fun every time?
I would give it sort of everything. So the level design was very good, and all the levels felt very different and visually different. The gameplay itself was really fun. The enemies were fun to fight, and they were challenging. And then, actually, back to that level design thing, with 5 people, those levels were big and
Gotcha.
expansive. So you and all 5 of you are spread out doing your thing. And
And
it
there was like
pretty cool.
layers or levels rather, so you can go
Yep.
up and stuff. Gotcha. That helps
Yeah.
with when you have more people on screen too, to go up and
Yeah.
down and all around. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice came out. I have yet to play it. This is not really up my alley, but it was
No.
Game of the Year for Game Awards. So
It's supposed to be great.
Risk of Rain 2, that was your jam.
Fucking great.
That
So good.
was in March 28th.
I should go back to playing it.
Yeah. I think it's on Switch now,
Yep.
or there's a trailer for it.
That's got to run like donkey dicks on Switch. Like, there's just
The
too much
Witcher's on
shit.
Switch, man. It's a weird world we're in now.
Yeah,
man.
but that's like with a team that can optimize that shit.
That's true.
And that team still couldn't optimize it enough to run well on the Switch.
That's how I prefer to play The Witcher. Nintendo Labo VR kit came out. This is April 12th. I just find that relevant just because they're still being Nintendo and still making weird stuff, and
Yep.
it wasn't them getting into the VR world. It was just kind of a cool toy that they kind of did with the Switch. Katana Zero, which was I had fun on Switch. I need to go back to it.
Yeah,
That
you
was
said you
April.
liked that.
I liked it. It was really cool, unique art style. Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and it's still kind of it was big on like Game of the Year stuff as far as fighting games go. Did it win Game of the Year, fighting Game of the Year on Game Awards? I feel like it did.
I can't remember.
Gotcha. I feel like it did. So that was on April 23rd. We got Days Gone. That was one of the last PlayStation 4 exclusive titles. For this
That's
year.
right. That game you're never going to finish.
No, I never will. I think I'm done trying. Maybe one day, but it's Sony Bend made that one. It's a beautiful world too. I really want to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days. Rage 2. I had a lot of fun with Rage 2. Played a lot of that fucking game. I think you played it too, or I'm thinking of Borderlands, where you had to,
No, I did.
look
I
down
did
at the-
play. I had
Yeah.
to look down at the ground in Rage 2 because my computer didn't have. I think I would like it enough to finish it
Yeah,
because you finished it.
I did.
So I think I'd like it enough to finish it. Was there like what did you really enjoy about this game? Because you blitzed through that pretty quick.
I did. I think it's a big testament too. So Bethesda was able to use
Blame this on it's not even id Software. That's Machine Head Games.
No, Avalanche is the one who developed it, right? But
There we
yeah.
go. Yeah, Avalanche.
they're obviously able to use like the mechanics of Doom, like as far as the gunplay and stuff. Even the shotgun is like 1-for-1. That was a big deal. If this didn't have that, it would have been rough. Because like the open world was still cool, it was beautiful, but the story was really lackluster. The gunplay was awesome. So the fact that it had Doom infused in it, that's what made it so fun. And the world was still it was beautiful though. Like it was a Mad Max Fury Road, version of Rage, and so that's what made it was the world that they built around it, and also the gunplay was really fun. So that's what kept me going to the end. But also, as you're experiencing the story, which I can give two shits for, you're gaining abilities. So that's what was fun for me, just gaining all these different new abilities. And then you feel like a badass just jumping around. But yeah, that's fun. We have Void Bastards. I wanted to like that game more.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not the game I wanted it to be. I think that was the problem.
And maybe that's me coming into it like expecting something else, but yeah.
Like, oh, it's the makers of BioShock and shit. I was like, oh,
Right.
it's going to be like a roguelike BioShock. And like, I was even getting those vibes going into it, and then it fell off.
And the art style is really cool.
Yeah.
For me, that's I think that's how I live my life too. Whatever visually looks cool, that's what I'm drawn to first, and then I start to, get into it. But like when I pick a beer or a wine, I go by the bottle.
Yep.
When I pick my video game, I go by what it looks like. And this art style was really cool. I'm interested to see what they do next for sure.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds. This is your pick for Game of the Year, May 3rd.
My goty.
Yeah, that was really good. And we talked about that for sure. So we'll see. Now it was a PC and Game Pass title. I think now it's on PS4.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what else it comes out on. But Cadence of Hyrule, that was kind of a sneaky release where I think it was it a Nintendo Treehouse or whatever they do where they have those like just announcements.
I don't think the release was sneaky, but the announcement was sneaky.
Yeah, that's true.
No one saw that coming.
Right. Yeah, because they teamed up with that developer that does the Crypto.
Brace Yourself Games.
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Brace Yourself or Race Yourself?
Brace Yourself.
Gotcha. That's a dope name.
Yeah.
Did you get to play? I actually downloaded Cadence of Hyrule, but I couldn't get the timing thing right, and so I gave up. I always I have it. I should go back and play it again, but
I would if I could. I can't play Necrodancer on a controller, and since this is on Switch only, I can't. I would struggle. Maybe the buttons are a little bit flatter, so maybe not. But I'd like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. My Friend Pedro came out June 20th. That was fun. Kind of weird. So this spawned us eventually playing that game with the dude who's shooting two guns in slow motion. Why am I blanking on the name? But we rented it or we bought it, got it on PS3.
Oh, John Woo's Stranglehold.
Stranglehold, yeah, because this is very much that. Like this only exists because of Stranglehold.
Yeah.
But it was like a 2D version of that.
Man, Stranglehold was a lot of fun until it suddenly wasn't.
Right? I wish that those first like 3 levels kept going, but it got rough.
Even like in those first 3 levels, there were moments of just like, I'm still standing in this area, just shooting the same people over and over. I must say, I'm a little bit concerned of how many of these titles you've bought.
Yeah, and have not finished. Yeah.
This is a lot of games. Now, I don't know how many are on Games Pass, so that may...
Some of them are. Well, at least 2 are right now. But a lot of these, now I can't do that because of just like the new house and stuff. But like, that's when I could. I could buy, like, I think I bought Super Smash Bros. And I played it very little. But it was a lot of these are games that like my nephew...
You need to play that, damn it.
I do.
Like, I'll dumb it down.
Yeah.
We'll just slap each other with the power moves all day, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, I need to get into that. A lot of these games I still have. I guess for whatever nuclear winter that happens, I have all these games on my backlog.
Speaking of games you bought, we have
Super Mario Maker 2.
We got 2 more in a row.
Yeah, Super Mario. Yeah, you're fucking right. Super Mario Maker 2 came out for Switch. That was a pretty big deal. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which is a Switch exclusive, came out. Played like 30 minutes of it. It's fun, but I don't know if I'll ever go back to it.
Yeah, we should just get shit-faced and beat it.
Yeah, Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah,
I'm down.
So you can play that blackout drum.
I think I'm pretty sure you can. You can't. It's hard. It's already hard enough to tell which character's yours when you're coherent and seeing on screen. But when you're drunk, you're just throwing out the window.
I'm pretty sure you just like mash the button.
Yeah, but like the button to switch characters is also so easy to hit, where you're just switching characters, mashing buttons. It's like it's just.
But does that work the same when there's multiple people?
Good question. I think you can only switch between other CPU or PC players, but yeah, it was chaotic.
But you really like Super Mario Maker 2, though, didn't you?
I did. I played a good amount of it, and also my one of my nephews has it, and he's always playing it, like always making these levels, and will challenge me to beat them, and then I instantly beat them, and then he gets super upset, or he makes it impossible to beat, and he's like, "Here you go." I'm like, "Dude, no one can beat this."
Dude, I just wish that game existed when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. That's It's funny because now you have a younger generation who's going to just start out the gate with this stuff, like all these various creative tools that are approachable.
Yeah.
And so we'll see, like the sky's the limit, what kind of stuff they're going to create now.
Like, you think millennials have a hard time getting jobs now? Wait until this next generation enters the market, and they're like, all right.
I'm proficient in Mario Maker 3. And
I've been making levels since I was 2.
Yeah, it's going to get harder and harder. Wolfenstein Youngblood came out. Came and went. I really loved the last couple of Wolfenstein, so I want to get back into that. Control, which is my game of the year, came out August 27th. We're in August now. Damn.
That's Control's a lot of people's. I should just play it. It's definitely a lot of people's game of the year, and I think deserved.
I highly recommend it. The art style alone just fucking triumphs over everything else that came out this year. The gameplay was awesome. The feeling of, so I played this maybe a month before I played Jedi. And there's a lot of correlation between them. The way you can fly, the way you can attack people. It's like they give you all these abilities that are very much like a Jedi, the way you're moving around. Yeah. The movement was perfect. I always wish I clicked more with is it Remedy who does these other games like they did?
Right. Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. They did the other action-y game, which was Quantum Break.
Oh, that's right.
I wanted to click more with Quantum Break. And so this is them just like perfecting all the different skills and the weirdness, the out of left field stuff with the story, unique level design, and then the gunplay. They nailed it with this one. But so that's for sure my game of the year. Knights and Bikes. I know you were into that one.
I should play it.
Yep. Astral Chain. Did you play this one? That was August?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I did.
Gotcha.
That game was badass. I wouldn't give it a single award, but it's fucking great. Yeah. Holy shit. It was so fun. The graphics are great, especially for the Switch. I should finish that game. I never will, but I should. Yeah. I'm probably not that far from the end.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a hard life to try and finish all these games. But Creature in the Well, that was that pinball kind of game that was on.
Oh yeah, you played that, didn't you?
Yeah. I also jumped into it randomly a couple of days ago, and it's fun. There's a lot there that I need to keep going with. That was September. We have Gears 5 September 10th. Also kind of came and went. It was really fun. Very beautiful looking game.
Did you buy that
more
one?
Gears. That was a Game Pass game. So
there you go. There you go.
Borderlands 3. How did you feel with that one this year as far as like Game of the Year stuff?
That may be the funnest game I played this year. It's just stupid. It's so fun. Yeah. That's in my opinion the best Borderlands, and it's definitely the best gameplay. Some of the best gameplay I've played all year. It's just stupid fun. Oh, so fun. So fun. I should play through it again with a different character.
Have you beat the final? You beat the single player,
beat it.
Right?
Yeah, because it'd been like months of me saying like, "Oh, I'm still playing. No, I'm still playing." But I should play through again with a different character. It allows you to like ratchet up the difficulty a little bit, but you get better gear when you replay
like
through it again.
Plus kind of thing.
Yeah, gotcha. yeah. So I should definitely do that.
Nice. So this game, I know you didn't play it, but it was just funny because I know you're a fan of this movie. But Groundhog Day came out of left field with the VR game that they announced, Like Father, Like Son. It came and went. It was September, but maybe one day if I get some kind of VR thing, we can play it.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna play. That's what we're gonna.
That's the first game I'm downloading is Groundhog Day. Sayonara Wild Hearts. That was just Game of the Year stuff. I didn't play it. I don't know if you played it at all. But that was September.
I would. I don't think it's that long, and it just looks like a cool visual journey.
Right. This one was a lot of Game of the Year award kind of nominees. So Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening came out September 20th on Switch. You played it and finished it, right? Yeah. What do you think? Overall, summarize it.
It's so it's not a now I love it's absolutely one of my favorite Zeldas. It got me introduced to Zelda. It introduced a shit ton of people to Zelda. So it's in my heart, it's definitely one of the best Zeldas out there. That being said, it's definitely a very polished, okay game nowadays. It's pretty good, and it's got
always the trouble with like bringing back these games to life.
It's still got heart. I'll still play it again.
Yeah.
I really liked it, but
I would say cutest game of the year, right? I don't know. The next game here, it's giving it some fucking competitions.
Knights and Bike was also pretty. There were some pretty cute games this year. I'm not gonna.
So, Untitled Goose Game apparently came out the same day. That's
did it? Oh no!
As far as like cute games or just unique, unique ideas with Untitled Goose Game. That was one
It
of
was a
them.
unique idea.
Yeah,
No
it
one
came
was
out of left
making
field.
that game.
No.
Nobody.
We didn't realize we wanted this game, and now I want 10 Goose Games like this. And I want Beaker in the Goose Game now for sure.
Yeah.
That was September. Dauntless, which is just kind of a out of left field, free to play multiplayer kind of thing. But that released and it's there.
Dauntless.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, it's a class.
Oh no, that game's been in early access for like ever.
I think this is on here because it came to like PS4 or Xbox. Or something
Yeah,
like
I think
that.
it officially like came out of early
Yeah.
access and it came to Switch. It's basically Monster Hunter,
Gotcha.
and then it came out shortly before Monster Hunter did,
Well,
which was a
good luck.
choice.
Yeah. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which was not for me, but it was that style of shooter. I know it kind of didn't hit whatever sales figures they wanted, or critic
Was
wise.
a buggy mess.
I don't know about Buggy Mess, but I know it just
It was a
wasn't
buggy
unique
mess.
enough.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah. John Wick Hex came out October 8th. I know that was a lot of build up where I was excited for this, but then once playing, I thought maybe the gameplay isn't for me. But I wanted to have more fun.
It got reviewed so well, which
It
just baffles me.
Yeah, see, I didn't play enough to really to think about it either way. But I want to get into it. But I could tell right off the bat, it's maybe a bit more challenging or punishing than I would like it to be. But yeah,
I just didn't feel tactical. I just felt like I was slowly not having fun.
And maybe there's that hump, that curve you got to get over. I don't know.
Maybe. I remember I got to once I finished the first area, I got the choice to upgrade myself, and I'm like,
I don't care.
I can be slightly less shitty. I don't, and maybe that would feel cool. Like maybe this because it is a prequel, so maybe you start out the game. A shitty
He's
shit
already
shit.
badass at that point in the game, but yeah.
Is he?
Or in the
I
story
don't know.
wise,
Probably. But yeah, so you start off kind of shitty, and maybe by the end you're just super elite. You can do 5 moves at once,
Yeah.
like dodging bullets, Keanu Reeves style. But
That might have been a game where they start you off with your stats all the way up, and then you lose them, kind of like was it Metroid or some kind of style, where you start it with everything, and then you lose it,
and
have
then
to
you get it
rebuild.
back.
Yeah,
That would have been
see
cool.
A taste of
That
what
would
it
have
could
been
be
cool.
like.
I would have liked that.
They should talk to me.
Yeah.
Killer Queen Black. came
Game's
out.
the tits.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
game is so fun. It's so fucking
You
fun.
put me on to footage of it.
Stressful.
Yeah, it looks
stressful. You play like a round or two, and then you take a break.
like that's what the box art just.
It's just nonstop when you're in it. There's no breaks. There's just go.
Yeah.
You're on a mission. The other people are doing a good job. You're doing like fuck.
It seems very complicated as far as just like the amount of moving parts that can happen. But
Yes.
but in a good way. I just haven't played it for myself. But
Yeah.
Disco Elysium, which was the top of a lot of Game of the Year awards. Haven't played it, but we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I would give this my funnest Game of the Year award because I had a lot of fun playing this. Yeah, well, for me specifically, the multiplayer, the way they kind of brought back the Call of Duty original Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay and the nostalgic factor of it. I was having a blast playing this, and it brought me back to that era. But and then the single player is really cool, really polished. But that'd probably be my funnest Game of the Year. We got Luigi's Mansion 3. This one is a lot of the Game of the Year stuff. I need to play it. I don't know if you have any interest in that.
I mean, I played 1 and 2.
Yeah, I never played those.
I don't know. I may play it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of played it twice already. Like I don't know what this is gonna bring. That
Yeah. Apparently, there's the new features like you have Guigi and stuff, and other aspects to it that are that are fun.
I almost don't know if like you almost just play these games to experience like the mansion. Like the mansion is just kind of a cool puzzle, or at least it was in the first two. But the second one had multiple mansions, which was kind of neat.
Oh, okay.
But this one's like one big fuck off hotel.
Right. That's true. I forgot about that.
I don't know. Maybe I'll play it.
I do. I'm waiting for some kind of sale, but they really never have.
Nintendo
sales on
doesn't do
Nintendo.
that.
No, they don't fuck around with that. You're paying $60 or nothing.
You'll be paying $60 for the next 30 years.
Yeah. I always remember that with the original Mario 64. It stayed $60 forever.
Yep.
Like it never
They know they don't have to put it on sale.
They do. They know their worth, Kevin. Death Stranding came out November 8th. That was a game that I don't think any of us ever saw or, in the future could picture a day where it actually came out because it was teased for so long. So many trailers, they didn't explain what was going on. And then it actually fucking came out.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. And it's coming to PC, I want to say early next year or late next year, but there's that PC release. So yeah, Death Stranding. Pokemon Sword and Shield came out November 15th. That was That was a game. I'm not a huge Pokemon
Kind of
fan.
came and went as well. Like people are still playing it.
I think people are still playing it, but I wonder. There was some controversy with them omitting or taking out various amounts of Pokemon that are normally in the games. So there was drama with that and reusing animations and stuff. I don't know whatever happened with that, but Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is one that I got to play. This is November 15th.
Pretty big.
I had a lot of fun. I was initially very frustrated playing the game, but then I got over whatever kind of hump or figured out the mechanics and exactly what they wanted me to do as far as like the timing goes with the fighting part of it. But then I started having way more fun with it. Had a blast. The story was really cool. The game is super beautiful. Had a lot of fun with that game. Yeah, that's the entire year as far as games go.
Looks like we missed December.
Did we?
Or are you one of those people that ends it?
Well, nothing really came out in December, is what I'm thinking. That's why it ended there.
I don't know.
Pretty sure I'm right. I think I'm right.
I still for whatever reason, in my head though. Shit, what's it called? Not Bard's Quest. Wonder Song.
Bard's Tale?
For whatever reason, in my head.
I think that was on the list, and I didn't put it on here, but you're right.
No, it was last year because I remember Game of the Year awards came around, and I'm like, no, that was this year. For whatever reason, it's in my head that it came out this year. So, in my head, that is still my Game of the Year. But
gotcha.
Yeah, that was a crazy, stupid good year of games.
Crazy good year. It's a lot, and it's not getting any better as far as like the reprieve, the break in between games. It's just every year, it's just nonstop. Yeah. Maybe it'll be a bit because we're getting a new generation of games, and usually the beginning first year, as far as console games go, that first year is always rough. It's always like third party stuff. It's like EA whatever, and then you get these like tailor made games that come out. But I think this is a weird generation where there's a lot of overlap, where like games are available on like many different consoles now. You have like the PS4, PS4 Pro, and then PS5. A lot of games are going to be playable on each of them, so it's going to be a weirder kind of time. But
I think it's going to make the transition to this next generation kind of weird too, because we tend to get both sort of a sort of a drought right before the next generation games out, because all these big studios. But we'll also have like long tails of the previous generation where we're still getting these games on the previous generation.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to be, because there's just so many people making games, I think this is going to be the most seamless generation jump ever made, because we're still going to have a shit ton of current generation games.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And even if a ton of studios stop making games right now and start making them for next gen, we could have a shit ton of those games too. So this is going to be, we're still going to have too many games.
It's not going to get any better. I think you're right. So good luck, RP to our wallets. But
yikes.
But now it's a great time because like there's just so many different options. Although this is a trail down a different conversation. But like my nephew who's 8 or whatever, I have so many different games on my PlayStation, and they're all digital downloads, so you could just skip between game to game to game. And so initially when I'll let them like play games, there's so much there, it's so daunting that it's like you don't want to stay on one for too long, or as soon as that one gets hard, you just move to another one. It's like this feeling of, because there's now more options, you're not locked in to commit yourself to a game anymore, as like I guess our generation was used to, maybe. Yeah. Especially with like renting a game. Do you remember that bullshit of like you rent a game for a weekend? That's your game that you get to play. So whether it's super hard or it sucks, doesn't matter. That's what you got to play for the whole weekend for days. So, but nowadays you don't have to do that.
Superman 64. I remember that weekend.
Did you actually rent that game?
God damn.
Damn.
There was no warning. Nobody knew.
No.
Nobody knew.
Because this is before you could communicate that, and
right.
So YouTube videos explaining how it sucks.
I didn't go to the I'd peruse the magazine section and like read through the gaming mags, but I never remember hearing anything about Superman 64.
Even then, there's gonna be a delay before they write about it. Before
right. Oh, that one.
How far did you get in that? Because I know like the initial flying part
level
is super
2.
hard. Yeah,
I got to level 2.
Where there's like rings you have to fly through and.
No, I think level 1 had all the rings. That was all the flying. Like it starts off garbage, and then you get to this weird like you're trying to navigate on these rails, and there are these tornadoes, and it also sucks. Like it just goes from garbage to garbage to the weekend's over, and you just wasted it.
Yeah. And you wore down the nub on your Nintendo 64 like joystick to the point where it's not.
Oh god, I think my fingers tended to wear out before the nubs did.
You might not have a fingerprint anymore.
What do you think your most rented game as a kid was?
Oh, good question. I don't remember. I wish I did. I kind of floated around between a lot of different games. Maybe a lot of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. I rented those often, or over and over again.
Because you could beat those in a rental.
You could, but I just liked playing them all the time. Like I would just kind of play them over and over again. I think I was the kind of kid I kept skipping around. So and I guess I would save up to buy a game that I wanted to keep. But yeah, it's hard to tell. I wish I could go back and read those and read, just see what I was renting at the time. But yeah, that was one story I didn't pull up. But this was like 2-3 weeks ago. Redbox announced they're not going to have games to rent anymore. So that's that maybe is the last place you can rent a physical game.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it anymore. So they're actually selling a lot of their games through their red boxes. So there's a good deal on them. But once they sell out of the inventory, they're not going to sell or rent games anymore, which is just kind of an official end to an era. Because, Blockbuster's dead, but this is the last stage for that kind of stuff. And now that's gone too. So there's that. I guess GameStop, but you don't really rent. You'd have to trade it back for $5.
I couldn't have imagined their video games were doing great at Redbox.
I wonder because, there's always this big pushback against an all-digital future because people want discs. They want to be able to rent. But then at the same time, you have an industry that, with Redbox anyways, a company that they would keep doing it if there was a demand. And that demand must not be enough. Yeah. So I think people are moving more to digital or buying. Yeah. Or they want to be able to trade back, which GameStop allows them to do.
I really do. Like, I haven't rented a Redbox movie in, ages.
Yeah.
But I really hope they stick around.
I think they will for people that want that option, and there is a huge demand for it. Like, we're used to higher speed internets in our area, but we hear that all the time. That was issues with Stadia too. It's like across the country, that's not the case, especially across the world. Yeah. Well, there's some countries that just trump us in actual internet speeds, but so we're still, we need to upgrade our infrastructure.
Well, even without that, Netflix, Amazon, all these things, they have huge gaps in movies you can't watch, especially new releases. So the fact that you can just go to Redbox, get the new release, spend $1.
That's true.
Take it home, watch it, get it back next day. You're good.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
New release.
Yeah, that's where they kind of can shine on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I did pull up to round it out 2019, some of the big news stories of 2019. I thought it'd be fitting to kind of go over those. Yeah. One of them was Apex Legends. So I did pull up a similar article. This is from Metro.uk. They have the article that is the biggest video game news stories of 2019, the 13 biggest video game news stories. So some of these are pulled from them. Apex Legends, which I thought would be handy to get into. This is from Metro.uk. It's always good to see a major publisher make an effort to push a new IP, especially when it turns out to be a great game like Apex Legends. Developer Respawn only started teasing the game a day before its launch, before paying 100 influencers, including Ninja, who was allegedly paid $1 million for his efforts to stream the game. The end result was 1 million players in 8 hours and 50 million in a month. So they just said, hey, let's fix this problem with cash by paying everyone to promote the game. But it was actually, the bones of the game was good. Like the gameplay was there. You mentioned having a lot of fun.
It was so fun, but it was free. So that same day when all these people jumped on, I jumped in.
Yeah,
first day. Free. Yeah.
And see, I think the big hurdle though with these games is that just the getting a community based around it. Yeah. So that's why you want to spend the money getting these influencers playing it, because there's so many other competitions out there that you need to stand out somehow. And so that's why they would do that. But yeah, so it paid off by getting them 500 or 50 million in a month of revenue of just upgrades and stuff. So yeah, and they're still around. I mean, they're big. They're a big option as far as you have your PUBG, you have Apex, you have your Fortnite. So they're in the mix. Battle in the Cloud. So this year was big with game streaming services. We have Google Stadia, which we didn't really talk about for 2019.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. So they were announced in March 19th, and then they launched in November 2019. They had a lot of issues launching with promises that they didn't were able to commit on as far as the features that they kind of advertised in their initial release, where they had this really cool feature, I thought, where you could watch a streamer who's streaming on Google Stadia and then go and play their game or play with them. That was pretty dope. I love that idea. And that's still possible down the line, but at this point it's not there. This one was interesting because it kind of, I don't know if it scared or worried these different console manufacturers, because they did that alignment or agreement in 2019. Remember that, where they agreed to work on whatever kind of AI thing that they said they were going to work on? Yeah. So here's the actual phrase. So both companies announced in May 2019 to collaborate on new cloud-based solutions for gaming experiences and AI solutions. So I don't know if that was just a reaction to Google, getting their stuff together for the streaming service, or them needing to pull their infrastructure to create some kind of thing in the future.
I mean, I'm sure it was in the pipeline anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
It could definitely be the future. Like, even I think Reggie Fils-Aimé was quoted recently saying he thinks cloud gaming is the future. It's just not ready.
It's not ready. Yeah, and I think people do still want to rely on physical hardware, at least as a backup, or to these things can work in conjunction with each other. They can help each other. That's what the original Xbox was trying to do, or the Xbox One when they launched. They're trying to use the cloud to help stuff like that original Crackdown to like do the physics of the buildings crumbling.
That would have been so cool.
Right, that would have been dope. And now they're actually we're in the future where people want that. At that time, that was a scary term when they would use that stuff. Yeah. But now we're in that world where Stadia exists. Back then, that was not possible.
And Stadia can do that, I think, right now?
They could if they can hold on, or, I mean, they have the money, but Google tends to historically like drop different projects after a couple of years. Yeah. So, but they said they're committed to this, but it hasn't been going very well for Stadia. But they launched in 2019.
Well, it'd have to go well for the players.
Right. In comparison to Stadia launching, so Microsoft put out their streaming service called xCloud, and this one actually did really well, but they kept it in beta form, and it was also free. So you could jump in, try it. All the Game Pass games are available on the xCloud, and so it's been working awesome. I've tried it in the house. It works fine. Yeah. But also the biggest hurdle the hurdle that isn't there is that it's free. You can try it. Yeah. And so as everyone's, paying for Stadia for a special controller, for all these different issues, for games that aren't really there, xCloud goes, hold my beer, and like, here we have all this stuff and it's free.
Yeah.
So
won't xCloud as well like let you stream and bear in mind Steam has been doing this for years, but like won't it let you like because like Steam you can have like, let's say my PC's in your bedroom, and you can just stream it to your TV and play with it, which is great. And my buddy did that like one time we were doing that, and I had no idea that was going on. But if I think xCloud allows you to like stream from your Xbox to like your phone or something.
Yeah, there's two different modes, and I have only tried the one where it's streaming from whatever server online, or you can stream straight from your actual Xbox. So it will send that data to your phone, to whatever Wi-Fi you have, or it can stream from a separate, almost like how Stadia does it. So you can either have an Xbox or not have an Xbox.
Which I would have loved when I was sick recently. It's just like, man, I'm living in the bathroom. Can I just get my...
In the future, we'll all be in the bathroom, Gavin.
That's in the future, we'll all be in the bathroom, Gavin.
Take that to the bank. Also, 2019, the next gen race started. I feel like we had a lot of even on the show we covered a lot of different patents that maybe didn't go anywhere, or they were revealing something,
and they all ended up equal.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, as far as like hardware stuff, I think they're equal. But like you have, say, we covered like the PS5 dev kit that looks like a Lamborghini. Or weird controllers that might not be
pair
possible.
Of pants.
Strange, yeah, it's a strange pair of pants for sure. But yeah, this year was definitely like we're getting the next gen race started. So we have Microsoft, at the Game Awards showing off the Xbox Series X, showing off their first next gen game. Apparently, footage from it with Hellblade 2. We got the the PlayStation showing off the PS5 or describing it in a Wired magazine article. I thought that was interesting. So that was April 2019. The first time they officially said, here's what we're working on. It's the PlayStation 5. It was in that Wired article where they gave a very broad tech specs for the console. So this year's been them kind of getting the chess pieces in order, or in formation, to then have the battle next year.
And next year they domino.
That's how it works. Yeah, you scream Uno and then they win. E3 2019. I thought one big thing was Keanu Reeves was at E3 2019. He won it basically for me this year in general. But Gavin, to round off, E3 2019 also happened. With Sony not attending E3 this year, Microsoft was able to steal the show and premiere new footage of the highly anticipated Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red. And also a bomb drop they revealed not only was Keanu Reeves in the game, but then smoke comes on screen, and then he floats onto the stage, and he's there in person to announce. He revealed the release date, too, April 2020.
Yep. And they still have not pushed it back.
They haven't. Yeah, I think as we get closer, well, who knows? But as they get closer and closer, it might be legit.
I can't believe they haven't pushed it back. Like, what the?
Yeah.
If any game was going to push back a release date, and I'd be like, yeah, fine, take all the time you need.
Yeah, it'd be 100% fine. Oh, yeah.
So I'm never going to be able to play it. I'm going to have to buy a next gen just to be able to play that fucking thing.
I think you're gonna. This is apparently releasing on PS4, Xbox. Well, like you can still pre-order it for the current gen.
Right.
So this might be your way to jump in, is to play it on current gen.
Get them when they cheap.
Yep.
somebody gonna be selling it off to get a next gen, and I'll be like,
I'm gonna be in that same boat. Both of my cousins, or actually my nephew and another cousin, got PS4s for Christmas. So if those fucking kids can get one, you can get one too. Because they're like $200 now. I feel like they're the cheapest. Well, obviously the cheapest now they've ever been, but they're doable now.
Are they $200?
Yeah, they're roughly.
Shit.
Yeah. So it's
See,
doable.
that was my mistake. I bought an exercise bike with my Christmas money. Should have bought.
That's a smart adult thing to do.
Should have bought a PlayStation 4.
See, that's what I would have done. I would have said, I'm not going to buy that bike. I'm going to buy a PlayStation. We also had the Sonic movie trailer happen this year, Gavin.
Oh, the Sonic debacle.
The Sonic debacle.
Woo.
So the actual trailer dropped in May 2019, if you remember that. And that's what
He was 2018?
No, so May 2019 is what I meant.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So
what a train wreck that was.
It was a train wreck, and of course the internet picked it apart as they're going to. Obviously, they're going to do that. So, and it was enough. It was enough backlash to cause the studio to say, "Okay, we'll work on it." They pushed it back 3 months to February 2020. I think it was initially for November 2019, November, December 2019. So it should have been
was
out.
it? Oh man.
Yeah. But they did the
Good.
redesign, and the redesign looked good, right? The actually was like
I'm
how
happy
it should
with
look, right?
I think this is going to be, and again, it's going to be a movie I'm going to go watch
Mm-hmm.
because they listened.
Yeah.
And I'll probably only kind of enjoy because this is definitely a kid's movie.
Yeah, it is, and it looks fine. It looks like funny enough. More slapstick. You have Jim Carrey doing his thing, and
Yeah, he does
John
look
Ralphio.
proper genre. Oh, it is John
Yeah,
Ralphio.
he's
It
voiced
does
him.
look like proper old school Jim Carrey. The thing that disappoints me is because this is a kids movie, we can't go watch it at the Orion.
Oh yeah, you can't get drunk or blasted, and you might be able to. They might actually. You know what? All these kids who played Sonic are now 30, so let's get drunk and watch this movie. One thing I found pretty, it was a bummer. Recently, so that studio that worked on the redesign, they just closed it down.
What?
This is in December. So the animation studio responsible for one of the biggest glow ups of the year in the Sonic redesign has reportedly been closed, according to CBC Canada, the Vancouver-based studio moving picture company, which was also behind the Academy Award-winning effects in animation in Life of Pi, has shut down. So I don't know if they just kept them alive long enough to do this and then just completely shut it down. This is very close to before Christmas.
Can you
too.
not? Can they seriously Well, I guess they probably got the money in advance, so and they just couldn't keep it afloat. That sucks.
Yeah,
That really sucks. And Life
Really
of Pi
sucks.
was supposed to have really pretty visuals.
yeah, they were able to blend the CG in real life really good. That sucks. I guess the redesign cost the studio $5 million. That's not the end of the world as far as movie budgets go.
But that shouldn't have been their money. That should have been the
No,
studio's
I don't know
money.
if this was the studio was in decline or if whatever happened, or they didn't time it very well, where the studio said, or whoever's responsible for this actual CG effect studio decided to just shutter it and close it. But it wasn't timed very well. It was right before Christmas too. But
God,
yeah,
can you imagine like
That
this could be like one of the biggest, like a big movie this year, and just like your studio went out there even though you.
Where it's not really about what you guys do. It's like it's just higher ups deciding budget wise it's not worth it to keep the studio afloat, or they've milked whatever money they need out of it and get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's very disappointing. But so there's
Actually,
a
that could
cloud
be
over
it.
that.
If they're like making stuff like Life of Pi, and now they're like, "Fuck it, I'll do the Sonic movie." Just right, that's fine.
Yeah. We also had Fortnite had a big year this year.
That's right.
They did the rebirth where they unplugged the game for 3 days and then plugged it back in for the new season. That was a big deal. Just the fact that really all they had to do, they redesigned the map for sure. It's very much like the original map. But the big key thing was, which I don't think people saw coming, the best way to draw up, interest in the game again was to remove it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
No one could fathom them even trying that, and they did it.
Can't believe they turned off the money machine for a few days.
But that only, increased the flow of the money machine.
I would love to know. Now they would never tell us how much money a day this game makes.
Oh God.
But I'd love to know how much money they lost in that. And they probably got it all back the day when Fortnite 2 launched.
I would imagine so.
Like,
Yes.
it's all back, but that's what a crazy.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed on the podcast when they did it, like some guy was probably in a boardroom, like, guys, crazy idea. We shut it down.
Yeah.
For
he's
a
like
few
coked
days.
out and he's just kind of jittery and they're just like, I don't know, buddy, but
A few days later, I'm a goddamn hero.
he was fired, but yeah, he's a hero. Yeah, no, that was nuts. And also they had they're kind of have this snowball rolling where they have all these huge media events happening. So they had the Endgame crossover this year. They had Thanos last year too. They had the Marshmallow concert, which was huge to have
I thought that was the year before.
So it was 2019 for the Marshmallow
Holy
concert.
shit.
They also ended the year by premiering the new Star Wars movie, the footage from that movie in actual Fortnite. So they had a trailer or scene you could watch in the game, and they had also the TIE Fighter tie-ins and stuff like that.
God, this year makes me feel like the beginning of this year, like the amount of shit we've gone through that feels like it was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Like the Marshmallow concert, for whatever reason in my head, that was forever ago.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff
makes me feel old.
Right. Yeah, no, and it's a lot that happens in a very short amount of time, so that's why it seems like just ages ago. One of the last stories too was the Blizzard debacle as well, where
which
they had
no one cares about anymore.
No one cares about it anymore, apparently, and it seems like that's the case too. That was the Blitzchung guy who was supporting not Bangkok.
China.
Hong Kong. There we go.
Supporting
Hong Kong.
Not China.
He was banned. Right.
He
not
was supporting
China.
Hong Kong. Yeah.
He was banned, and then they kind of brush it over by announcing more like Overwatch 2, Diablo 4 stuff. So we'll see if that pops up again, the anger over that, but it seems like it's kind of squashed a bit.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to see the entire, gaming community cover this, and it was a big deal that they couldn't squash it at the time.
Right. And don't forget, because you forgot Anthem, the whole Anthem debacle happened.
Yeah, that's true. Anthem came out, had a huge number of issues, and
there was that huge story about like they just
they're hoping that the development would kind of come in at the last second and fix itself, and
it's troubled for years of people just not fucking listening.
Right. There was like flying was in there initially, then it was removed, then it was put back in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues with it. Apparently they're going through this redesign of the game. So I know it's playable now, but like there's some kind of a renaissance rebirth thing happening or that's planned. We'll see.
Hopefully.
Now this is also from Metro.uk. Influential value. So this is a story just on influencers getting paid a lot this year. So as if the early access of Apex Legends wasn't illustration enough of how important influencers are to video game companies, that the rush to poach popular streamers from Twitch started to involve some serious money by the end of 2019, starting with Ninja. Some reports suggest that Microsoft have paid over $50 million for Ninja, even though in terms of audience members, Mixer is only a minnow compared to Twitch. Shroud and Ewok quickly followed, but while Dr. Disrespect and others vowed loyalty to Twitch, YouTube and Facebook Gaming also made moves for other prominent figures, a trend that is certain to continue in 2020.
And let's not forget King Gothalion, which always gets forgotten in this mix.
Was he? Now he's with
he's with Mixer now.
Mixer, gotcha. Yeah, they made some big moves, Mixer, to get a lot of these high profile talent on their stuff. But now there's a big
Ewok. Who the fuck is Ewok?
Ewok is a person.
I'm actually kind of impressed Dr. Disrespect didn't do it, because why wouldn't he? I mean, maybe he just saw that, hey, these people aren't getting the audience that they used to.
Yeah.
I'll have to pop on and see, like, because Shroud was just unstoppable on Twitch. Is he still unstoppable on Mixer?
I don't know. Now, does Twitch have separate deals with a lot of these creators where they will pay them for some kind of deal, some exclusivity, or they just get their own, their own deals based on their streams alone?
So it's all very cryptic, and they're not really allowed to talk about it with each other. But what
I think they would, so they could negotiate stuff better. But
that's ideal. What they do know is that every bigger streamers get better splits. So I forgot.
Okay.
I think like most streamers get, now everyone knows what a base streamer gets now, or like a base partner gets is 50%.
Gotcha.
So ads.
So they share the revenue.
Yeah, rev share. So ads 50%. What is it? Subs 50%. Bits, you get all of it, but Twitch takes an initial chunk. Donation. That's why people wanted to do donations, because donations, that's all you.
Gotcha.
You get 100% of the donation until taxes.
Right.
And then, I mean, even then, you still deal with that with Twitch stuff. But
so does that mean with these big people leaving Twitch, does, say, Dr. Disrespect, for example, does he possibly get more is he able to get more of a cut or more of a focus from Twitch by staying there? Is that what
He definitely gets more of an audience because there's other people gone, so they're gonna come to him or they're gonna come to other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely these people were big enough anyway that they had a huge, like, I'm sure Ninja was making like probably 75-80% of those subs. So,
right.
Which considering how many subs he had,
yeah, good amount.
That's a chunk of change. I mean, he was set before he went over to Mixer, and I'm sure whatever they paid him at Mixer, he's set for life. He's set for his kid's life.
Yeah,
and that was probably his thought process of kids are good now.
And I think because that this world of influencers and gamers making money in the space, it's so fragile to where you want to make as much money as you can and get out because you don't know how long this is really doable.
Yeah.
It does seem like it has legs, like you can keep going for the next 10 years, but you never know with this because it's such a new territory.
And you can't, like, none of these guys, well, like, I mean, definitely not Ninja. Like, Ninja's never been like a huge dick about this whole thing. He's been like a pretty good, like, when he wasn't super kid friendly when this started, and he kind of made it more kid friendly. He tried to be, a good icon once he got there. So he handled it, I still think, very, very well.
Yeah.
And it very much surprises me from seeing him back when he was a very smaller streamer. Gotcha. And seeing how, like, because he was a very immature person. I think he grew into the role.
Yeah, and that's fair. And then I wondered what kind of help, whether you ask for it or not, by these different companies. Are they setting you up with some kind of, guidance, or are they just saying, go for it, and it's up to you to mess up?
I mean, how many rappers do you see out there just like acting a fool?
Yeah.
With, like, WhatsApp. There's no guidance. You have money. We'll take some of that.
Because you're not a celebrity, you're an actor, you're that style of fame where it's up to you to not mess it up and to get whatever addiction or whatever. It's like they'll help you as much as they can, but as soon as that well runs dry, they're out of there too. So
yeah, you're just a dancing monkey to them.
Pretty much, yeah. One big news story. This was big for me just because I love Half-Life, and
it's big for gaming.
That's what I think. There was a lot of negativity with this, but there's a it's a lot of stuff all at once. But Half-Life is alive. It's confirmed. There's another game in that series. It's a VR game though. That's kind of the bummer to that. But it was announced very, very just kind of out of the blue. So Valve had this tweet on November 18th. We're excited to unveil Half-Life Alyx, our flagship VR game, this Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And then, 3 days later, they actually released that trailer where you could see the gameplay of it. And then with a release date of March 2020. So it's dope.
Really good.
Yeah, it looks really dope. It's on a bunch of VR headsets. So there's a YouTube channel called Tested that Adam's the guy from Mythbusters. Adam
Savage.
Yes. So he runs that YouTube channel. It's huge. They have other people on there. They sent some people to Valve's headquarters, and they got to try the Alyx game on a bunch of different VR units that they had there, and so they got to give their impressions on the various units, and it was really intriguing. They got to kind of break down. Of course, the best one is the Index, but they had like even stuff like that wireless one that you get, the Quest. Like that's still playable.
There's no way that ran.
You need the PC
Quest.
link, but they said it ran fair. It just doesn't have all the the control with the fingers, but it's Valve is basically what they seem to be doing is making this game very much playable on all these different units because they want this to be like a big push for VR. This is like the killer app for VR, but it looks like it's slated to be that kind of thing.
Good for them.
Yeah, I'm on board. I want to. My next goal now is to secure some kind of VR thing that's capable of playing this because I don't want to miss out. I do want to play this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see them tackling this, and really this puts them now in the right order to start tackling a Half-Life 3 because now it's more approachable. The fact that they're dipping into it somewhat.
I feel like I had to eat my shoe if Half-Life 3 ever comes out because I feel like I've said
it's more possible now.
That Duke Nukem Forever will never come out. And that Half-Life 3 will never come out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one.
You could have said that about like Death Stranding too. I mean,
I feel like there was another one where I kept saying it's never coming out. It's never coming out. It's never coming
maybe
out.
Maybe Cyberpunk or something.
Oh, that's coming out.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one last one before I lose a bet and have to eat a shoe.
Or Beyond Good and Evil or something is one of them. Like there's that
that
sequel.
One's legitimately never. Oh, actually, no. That one is in development.
Beyond apparently, but that's another one where it's like that could be lost.
I hope it's still being made. I remember what I was seeing. Beyond Good and Evil 2 looked really cool. It was just huge environment.
I think they're going too crazy with it.
Yeah, probably.
But that's another one that maybe could never come out. But this is a game that's coming out, and we're getting more stuff in the Half-Life universe. Now I feel like they're dipping their toes. They can go. Half-Life 3 is approachable now. Something with Gordon Freeman is approachable now because there's a buffer in between, which is Half-Life Alex.
It'd be nice if they took this opportunity to give Gordon Freeman some character.
Yeah, I wonder. So this is a prequel, or it happens in between 1 and 2. So do you interact with him, or how do they play that? They could, because he's not going to say anything, so you could just see him and go, "Oh yeah, there's Gordon." He goes, "Hey."
Or is he in prison at that time?
I don't remember what happens at the end of Half-Life 1. I know Half-Life 2, you wake up you're on the boat, not the boat, the train. But I don't know what happens.
Wake up, Mr. Freeman.
Right.
Is that what he says? I don't remember.
Yeah, he does. Oh yeah. Again, that's it. That's 2019 in a nutshell. Covered it all.
I will say one thing I've been meaning to say is I saw a bunch of footage of a streamer playing that what's the game Warframe update.
Ooh, do they have the ship stuff now?
With the ship stuff.
Ooh.
And it's bonkers.
Damn.
It looks, and I kind of forgot that like your ship is your HUD between or your hub between missions. So you're always in your ship. And I don't know if it's the same ship. It looked like it may be a different ship. It looked like a lot bigger ship.
Gotcha.
But it was neat because the person I was watching, they had like 3 or 4 or maybe 5 other people on their ship with them.
Whoa.
So they're fighting all these pirates, and they got people healing up the ship. They got people fighting off borders. Like they're working on the ship.
Sea of
while
Thieves kind of stuff.
Yeah, like a Sea of Thieves thing, but with goddamn space ninjas. It's like
for a game that wasn't intended from the beginning to have that. Like
right.
That's pretty awesome.
Like how just absolute cool is that if they could. I don't know. I thought it was brilliant, and it was neat that it's not actually like because your character gets in this weird like almost Pacific Rim style.
Oh,
like,
to power that.
Yeah, like you're moving around like this to fly the thing. It's never actually first person. You're watching your flight from third person, but the window's so big. It's gorgeous. It's really cool. It looks fun. The person I was watching had never played Warframe before, and they're like, "I'm gonna have to play Warframe now."
They watched the Rise of Skywalker. That's the first Star Wars that they've seen.
It looks cool. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think they need a really good, second kind of advertisement campaign to get more people in to like realize, hey, this game is different now. It's a different game. You have all these different options. Maybe pay the whatever million all these streamers to have them play it. Just to like
they actually have a really good streamer partner program, and they'll partner up with a lot of lesser known streamers, and they'll actually help them get their views up. There are a lot of people I knew that were Warframe partners.
Nice.
That when they would stream Warframe, they'd get like 100 viewers, 150 viewers. Then they'd stream literally anything else and get 2.
Right.
So Warframe does a very good job of supporting content creators that make their content specifically, and that's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that's looking ahead and building the mind share, the awareness of that game.
Yeah,
and that's what they need.
It's got a cool community, that game.
Gotcha. Gavin, that's it. Anything you want to add for 2019? What do you imagine for 2020?
Cyberpunk is.
It's gonna be rough because you got Last of Us, you got Cyberpunk.
What if? Now it won't happen, but what if Cyberpunk was terrible?
Define terrible. Like it just is glitchy.
It's
not
a
fun.
glitchy mess. It's not fun. The story's bad. Keanu Reeves' acting is pretty bad. Like
that might be true, and I can still have fun even if it's bad. I think the universe they've built is interesting to me already, to where I still want to jump in and figure out the story because I love that like Matrixy, cyberpunk kind of stuff. I love how that looks, so I'm on board either way. But I don't see how it can be bad.
No, I think it's going to dominate next year. It's going to dominate the news cycle. I'd be curious to see how open world it is. I haven't played any of the Witcher games.
That's where I get a little weird about it. The driving, I'm like, I don't know if that should be in here. It's already hard to load everything as it is, and now you're driving.
Yeah. So that's going to dominate. What else is a big one?
Last of Us 2. That's a big one.
Yeah,
That's my thing. I am boned up about Last of Us 2 for sure.
Boned up.
I'm thinking of PlayStation stuff, but like Ghost of Tsushima, that's end of this year, so that's not 2020.
That's coming out this year?
No, wait. That is 2020. End of next?
End of 2020.
Year. Yeah, there
we're not there yet. We're getting close.
There we go. I'm all over the place. But yeah, so Ghost of Tsushima should be awesome. I don't know. It's hard to tell like the big AAA stuff coming out, but I'm sure there's more down the line.
I hate the French steward on you, but I can't.
Yeah, I would say that's it. And we can kind of compile 2020.
Yeah,
And we're in it.
That.
And we'll be in 2020 in the future. Next time you see us.
Ooh, it's been a little bit too much of a year, really.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Whew.
Yep.
Give me just a little break.
And it flew by.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like any other I think other games I played this year. Like I played that new Darksider game.
Oh right, yeah.
I need to get back and finish that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of anything else like big notable. You played so many games this year.
I started games and never finished them. Yes.
A lot of games.
Yes, I did that, but that's kind of how I live my life. Yeah. So end it there, Gavin. Where can they find you online?
You can find me on Twitter @DrunkDevs.
Nice. You can find us on Plastic Heart Pod on Twitter. And that is it for this week. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.